Lena. Her name was Lena.
I don't know any Lena. What? Okay.
That's impossible.
Who's Lena? You need to build these things up before you reveal it to me. Either that or the impossible bit was something that happened just now.
You fool. Miserable, selfish fool! You killed us all!
Impressive, Raphael. You really were close. A shame that you were too preoccupied with yourself to see it coming.
Well,
Beasts! You damn beast! He was possessed! Possessed from the start!
well,
Oh no, Raphael. I am afraid that is only half true. We reap, but you sowed. Of course we possessed him, but you did all the heavy lifting back in Kira when you gave the order to massacre everyone dear to him, including his wife and his poor daughter. And so, it is a happy ending after all, isn't it? Without the Numinos, you have nothing to use the beacon's power on. And the only thing it is good for now is the destruction of your own beloved city. It will be a feast, and there will be nothing left of you once we've devoured you. Nothing but cold, gray flesh. It is just as we said. You have failed as you always have done.
I'm here.
What is it, Aranthio? Lost your tongue?
No,
Can I not
No.
talk about this?
I have not. Not at all.
It's weird that they don't
You
acknowledge
have
my
just
presence.
presented me with a solution.
Are you deaf? There is no solution. The cleansing will happen, and you will all die.
Yes, we will. Your Messiah, the citizens of the city, the armies, we will all burn like the sun. And then it will be over.
You're fantasizing, Aranthio.
He does like attacking ghosts, doesn't he? Without what? What?
Not this time.
What? What did you do? Deus Ex Machina right now?
Here we must go our separate ways. Believe me, I wish it were otherwise.
I don't
But
think
in your
you do.
condition, you would just be a burden.
Your face?
And I cannot afford any risks.
I am very powerful.
I'm sorry.
He's gonna punch me. What are you planning?
The High Ones are right. We cannot use the beacon to banish them anymore. But do you remember what the Archmagister said? Without the Numinos, the beacon's energy would burst out without direction.
Oh. Which is why we went to find the Numinos in the first place. Like in the beacon, without it would only...
Cause a massive explosion.
That's...
Yes.
Yeah.
And that is the only thing we can do for mankind now.
Sounds about right.
Koarek was and is essential to the High One's plan. Whatever shape the actual cleansing takes, he wants to make sure it will happen. And we, Prophetess, we may have failed in breaking the cycle for ourselves, but not for the others.
What do you mean? Do you think Koarek is gonna be the one to do the cleansing? I don't think that's how it works. What do you mean the others, though? I know exactly what the others are.
The other people of this world, Araziel, Kira, Kile, they're affected by the cycle as much as Enderal. And I know that there must be people like us. People who have had the same dreams and feel what is about to happen. And if we kill Koarek and his armies, we buy these people time. Time to gather knowledge. Time to build a new beacon. And time to light it themselves.
Well, then you have broken the cycle. You haven't really broken it, you just sort of made a hiccup in there, but it makes sense, yeah. So we want to blow the beacon up, but what about the city? What about all the people who'll die? I mean, they would die anyway. I guess I've answered my own question already, didn't I?
Those whom the Nerimes have not yet massacred anyway, you mean? They will die, as you and I will. But they will do so for mankind's salvation. And this is
not
something
really.
worth dying for. It is the only way, don't you see? Either we die here, rotting with the Pyreans, or we choose to give our death meaning by at least stopping this fanatic Korek and his armies. The High Ones are a lot weaker than they pretend to be. I feel it. We were so close to destroying them. And I have faith in the others out there who will fight them. They will succeed where this scum Skyrim made us fail.
Yeah, I think they are pretty weak. But they also can annihilate entire species. So I'm not really sure. I mean, what exact... the leap of faith here is there. It's not as awful as some leaps of faith that we've seen before. But he's betting that killing Quarag will delay whatever method or mechanism the High Ones have to kill an entire species. Right. We can't put a death sentence over all Enderal, though. Just for some vague hope. These people, they trust you, Oranthiel. Also, you're killing his army, which is also that important. You're killing Quarak. You're not just killing Quarak. You're killing his brainwashed army. The problem here... There must be another way. Like... He makes a compelling case. It's like, if we don't do anything, they will kill the whole species. And if we do something, maybe we'll disrupt that. Maybe. Maybe you're right. Maybe this is all we can do now.
It is. And I'm glad you see the truth of my words,
I don't
prophetess.
see the truth of your words.
Once the others have succeeded, once they have lit a new beacon, we will be remembered as heroes.
I don't think
Do
so.
not forget that.
I will definitely
I
die
wish I
before
did not have to leave you here.
having a chance to forget
But in
it.
your condition, you would not make it up to the temple.
Again, I am so
I am
good.
sorry.
You're not. You're the worst. I can walk. And I pass out. I don't think I had a choice there at the end, by the way.
It all begins with the dreams. Breathe.
Hi. Man, I'm getting worse by the second. Investigate the portal. You bet I will. I would like to investigate that, though.
Enter the mind of a High One? I hope you're joking.
Wait. They tried this as
This
well?
was their last stand. They are afraid of us. I feel it. You've killed us. You've killed us all. You have just shown me the solution.
The same idea. Is that what it's implied there? Is that they had the same idea? Why did you put me out? Stop it. Okay, so I've investigated the portal. I'll eat some bread. Consumables. There we go. Did I not eat the bread before? Imagine I didn't. Okay. My heart has stopped beating and all is well. As long as there's no mad rats, I'm good. Or anybody for that matter. I'm just good with walking. It is pretty. And I like it. So where are we? Oh! It's a big thing. Have I seen one of these before? I think we have seen one of these before. Did we not?
No.
Machine is talking.
Possible.
What the? Who are you? What is this place?
Why are you here? Be gone, Phantom. Be gone and leave me to my slumber.
Phantom? What in the place are you talking about? What's the meaning of this?
Then this isn't a dream. You really are here. But why? The Prophet dies when the Emperor leaves him. This is the course of the game. It has always been so. Explain yourself. How did you find this place? And why do you still exist?
I did not have a choice in that. So don't ask me that. It's interesting, because when we passed out, that's when we die? Again, the zany notion that the cycles are down to the minutia of people leaving the rooms that they're in at the specific time and dying at the specific times. But when we passed out, I think the veiled woman resurrected us, or prevented us from dying. Yeah, and I'm just now saying exactly that. But does he know who the veiled woman is? The machine? Does the machine know?
Her? But why? She does not have a mind. She does not have feelings. So why should she do this? But still you speak the truth. I can feel it.
You could stop talking about the feeling.
Be that the unlikeliest of all eventualities has become reality and brought you here.
The unlikeliest of all eventualities. I thought they were... Isn't that magic? Are you saying that me being here is a coincidence? No, that's not what eventuality means. It might mean that in German, though. Huh. I wonder if that's a mistranslation. Eventually, the word eventually, the adverb eventually, is a tricky word for us Portuguese to translate from Portuguese to English and vice versa, because it's the same word. Well, basically the same word. It has the origin in the same original word, wherever it comes from. I don't know if it's Latin, but let's pretend it's Latin. It doesn't matter. But the word eventually in Portuguese doesn't mean eventually. It means by coincidence. Which might... eventuality might mean coincidence, though. But and eventually not mean coincidence? I wonder. But the conclusion I would take anyway from eventuality certainly isn't coincidence. Is this like the end game? Because it's like the one occasion, the one timeline where this happens, which is usually how you tell a story. Imagine you have 5 million timelines repeating themselves over and over again, and then there's one of them that breaks. You're gonna tell the story about that one, and not the one that came before, or not the 5,001 or whatever. Doesn't matter. It's gonna be the one that breaks the cycle, because that's what makes for a good story. Although, I wonder if you could write a story like that. A story that allows you to see the eventuality, or rather, yeah, the eventuality, the name in English of what eventuality means. The eventuality of breaking the cycle, but you are not in one of those eventualities. I wonder if you could write a good story with that. I don't know. Anyway, this is a coincidence.
Coincidence or caprice, I do not know. The veiled woman cannot be understood.
I mean, she can. She says things. I have no idea what you're talking about. Who are you and what are you?
I am sorry. It's been too long since I've spoken to anyone. I have had many names. The Arcarians called me the God of Death. The Moonskin people, the Warden of Dreams. The Pyreans, the Demon of the Deep. For your people I am, or or was, the Black Guardian.
Dang it.
Pompous names, I know.
Dang it.
However,
Not pompous names, you're the one.
These, neither god nor demon. I am only an eye, condemned to observe again and again.
Yeah, he would know. Because the people, like the plebs, say the Black Guardian, you can hear him from the deep. He would know that because he sees all above, or somehow sees that. The pompous names comment, though, is out of place, though. Because first off, they're not that pompous. They're just sort of, they're not your name. They're your title, but let's skip past that. The thing is, though, remember how I rambled about the whole thing? It's the wind! So there must be tunnels. Yeah, they just ruined that justification. And also, shod naked? Shod? Sean? Sean? Hi, Sean, how's it going? No, they basically showed why that part of the story was there and why it felt so convoluted. It was shoehorned so that it could foreshadow. Well, not foreshadow, because that's not foreshadowing. But so it could, what's the word? Setup? Yeah, I think setup is because you have the setup and the payback. It's like a gun that's in the scene. You know it's gonna be like there's a gun in the scene. You know it's gonna matter later on or something. What is it called? Chekhov's gun, I believe. Anyway, yeah, it was shoehorned so that I could know in advance about the Black Guardian and not be like, I remember hearing that. Yeah, I remember that for the wrong reasons though, because yeah, it's the wind. It must be tunnels. So you know the Pyreans and all the other ones. By the gods, how old are you? Yeah.
'Cause you measure time. Older than your most daring chronicles go back, by far.
That's not...
I have seen them all, since our people fell. Every civilization, every cleansing, every turn of the cycle.
Then somehow survived the cleansing of your civilization? Are you one of the ancient starlings?
What? No. The starlings came long after me. I was only a fool who wanted to save his own skin at any cost. I knew the cleansing would come. I had known it long before the Red Madness and the war started. But I also knew that fighting it as my people did, and as most do, was pointless. So I looked for another way to prevail, and I found it. What you see here is the result. The Goliath, as I like to call it.
That's the pompous name, yeah. What exactly is it?
What is it?
Yeah.
My self-dug grave. What it was meant to be was a body of steel, an immortal machine with which I planned to merge my consciousness. Only organic life could be reaped by the High Ones, and I thought that by becoming a machine, I could fool them. By the name of the sun, how brilliant I thought myself.
Yeah, that wasn't...
I wanted to become a god, laughing in the face of time. But let me spare you my self-pity. What happened, happened.
They don't actually reap organic life. They reap the consciousness, which is ethereal, and the concept just in general. Of course, they reap the thing that the concept refers to, but still, it's not organic. Consciousness is not organic. It's not physical. That's what I'm saying. So, what? I know, I understand the logic of it, magically speaking. So you plan to outlive your own people to what point? Living in a dead world? I mean, make it sound as if... What?
No. Joining the Goliath meant immortality. All I had to do was sleep and awaken once more when the cycle started again. and new life came forth. Except that this new life would not have been defenseless. I would have been a true god to them, one capable of protecting them from the High Ones. No imaginary figure like the Creator, no false gods like the Lightborn were, to speak in your language.
Sure, but you're speaking my language. But your plan didn't work. Did work? You built this machine and became it, or merged with it anyway, and survived the cleansing?
As the only one of my people, yes. But it happened faster than it should have. And when the cleansing occurred, the Goliath was not yet finished. And as the Emperor unleashed the light, I had no choice but to complete the joining too early. A fatal error, as it turned out. I did survive, yes. But I am trapped inside this unfinished machine. And ever since then, all I can do is watch. Again and again.
So much stuff just to tell me that the machine doesn't work properly. I understand that. You don't need to go through... I get it. Let me finish it. Or something, I don't know. So you have been here since the High Ones devour your people?
Yes. It was not how I planned it. The Goliath in its final form was meant to be divine. A synthesis of man and steel. But I'm
pretty sure that's not steel,
myself,
by the way.
And I acted too quickly, driven by fear.
What do you mean you can only watch, though? We are thousands of leagues into the deep here, aren't we?
Yes. But a part of the Goliath is the eye. It allows me to see what happens on the surface everywhere. Not as literal as you imagine, of course.
Oh.
I see schemes, feel emotions, similar to your gift, to the Echo. But they are enough to understand.
I thought we had some Judas Priest type Electric Eye situation, which would have been fantastic, because that's an amazing song. We haven't lost yet, though. Whether the High Ones triumph or not depends on what happens after Ranthiel has blown up the beacon. Or the beacon up.
No, you do not understand. You are stumbling through the fog, even now that it is almost over. By themselves, the High Ones are not the problem. If we would just see them as they really are, they would become powerless.
Powerless. More to the point, as they really are.
Yes. It is hard to put into words.
And he doesn't put it into words.
I myself do not know everything about the High Ones.
Maybe he does.
Only that they are part of something we call the cycle.
Yeah.
The civilization arises and blossoms, and then, always at the same stage of their development, the High Ones appear, and with them, the Red Madness. People start losing their minds, wars erupt, and chaos rules, until 2 or 3 years later, the cleansing happens.
Don't say 2 or 3 years.
The moment when the High Ones devour the collective consciousness, the gathered minds of this civilization, to give birth to a new one of their own. Despite all of this, nobody knows what drives them. Perhaps they act out of malice, out of an urge to survive, or perhaps they do not even have a will of their own, but are like a force of nature. But I do know one thing. As powerful as they might be, it is mankind who gives them that power. We make them into what they are. Because what nobody understands is simply this. The High Ones feed on what humanity has the most of. Their ego, greed, pride, fear. and their everlasting search for an enemy who was responsible for all their misery. It is those traits the High Ones make use of. These characteristics are what make us human.
Nah.
And by themselves, they are harmless. Only when we bury them, when we deny them, then they play into the High One's hands. So why is this, you ask? It is simple. The High Ones alone cannot make the cleansing happen. Only a human can. With the beacon, my knowledge about it is as limited as my knowledge about the cycle. It has existed since the beginning of time, and despite what you might now believe, the ancient writings about it are true. Lit by the ones who carry the Numenos, it can banish the High Ones once and for all. But it can also destroy us. Because what happens when it is lit without a core is far more than an explosion. It is the cleansing, the triumph of the High Ones. And even as we speak, a human, Tealor Orinthiol, has done it again. A bright light will appear from the heart of the machine and open a hole in the sky. And within hours, it will spread throughout the world, and they will all feel it. A fire that burns them from within. A white light which will break through their flesh. Do you understand now? The High Ones have no power. All they do is to feed on our weaknesses, manipulate us into bringing about our own destruction. It is we who forge the sword that kills us. We who lead them to their victory. Even though the key to salvation has always been in our hands. But instead of realizing our folly, we make the same mistake. We repeat the same fate over and over. And only because we refuse to see the truth.
No, it's not. That's
The
not the
High
reason.
Ones are our enemy. But who wants to hear that it is our ego, that dark voice within us, that empowers them? It is so ironic. The moment we would realize all this would be the moment it all came to an end. But we do not.
Yeah, that's not the reason. Because the, all the details are put down so tightly. It's just history repeating itself down to the T.